Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, plus people's reactions to those deaths, as seen at Legacy.com in the second week of September 2021. Actor and comedian Art Metrano died September 8, 2021, at his home in Aventura, Florida. He died of natural causes at the age of 84. He was best known for playing Lieutenant Mauser in Police Academy 2 and 3. Metrano is also remembered for his stand-up act, often seen on The Tonight Show, in which he made his fingers appear to jump from one hand to another while humming. Football player Sam Cunningham died September 7, 2021, at his home in Inglewood, California, at the age of 71. While playing as an undergrad at USC, Cunningham scored 2 touchdowns in a 1970 game against Alabama, single-handedly making a big difference in the integration of college football. He is also remembered for his NFL career with the New England Patriots, where he became the team's all-time leading rusher. Football player and coach Terry Brennan died September 7, 2021, in suburban Chicago at the age of 93. He was a star halfback at Notre Dame in the 1940s, and he went on to become head coach of the Fighting Irish in the 50s. Brennan is remembered as a particularly young head coach. He was just 25 years old when he got the job. NFL player Mick Tingelhoff died September 11, 2021, at an assisted living facility in Lakeville, Minnesota. He died of Parkinson's disease with dementia at the age of 81. He played center for the Minnesota Vikings for his entire 17-season NFL career in the 1960s and 70s. He is being remembered as a Pro Football Hall of Famer who was ranked 3rd in NFL history for most consecutive starts. Singer María Mendiola died September 11, 2021, in Madrid at the age of 69. She was a member of Baccarat, a Spanish pop duo that had an international disco hit with 1977's Yes Sir, I Can Boogie. Mendiola is also being remembered for hits including Sorry, I'm a Lady and Parlez-vous français? Actor and screenwriter Ben Best died September 12, 2021, at the age of 46. He and Danny McBride co-created and starred in the HBO series Eastbound Down. Best is also being remembered for co-writing and starring in the movie The Foot-Fist Way, as well as for roles in movies including Superbad and Land of the Lost. Actor Don Collier died September 13, 2021, in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He died of lung cancer at the age of 92. He was best known for playing ranch foreman Sam Butler in the TV western The High Chaparral. He is also remembered for roles in the TV shows Outlaws and The Young Riders, as well as in movies including The War Wagon and Tombstone. Collier was a U.S. Navy veteran. Jazz impresario George Wein died September 13, 2021, at his home in New York City at the age of 95. He was the founder of the groundbreaking Newport Jazz Festival, which has continued for more than 65 years and influenced many other music festivals. Wein is being remembered as a jazz pianist and a devoted champion of the genre. Singer Ruth Olay died September 3, 2021, at her home in Desert Hot Springs, California. She died of natural causes at the age of 97. She sang jazz in the 1950s and 60s, performing with greats including Duke Ellington. Olay is being remembered for her nightclub shows, which attracted fans including Frank Sinatra and Judy Garland. NFL player Parys Haralson died September 13, 2021, at the age of 37. He was a linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers and New Orleans Saints. Harrelson is also being remembered for his time working as the 49ers Director of Player Engagement. Comedian and actor Norm Macdonald died September 14, 2021, of cancer at the age of 61. He was a Saturday Night Live star who anchored the show's Weekend Update segment for several years in the 90s. Macdonald is being remembered for SNL impressions of celebrities including Burt Reynolds and Bob Dole, and for his sly comedy routines that turned deliberately awkward punchlines into laughter. Game designer Reuben Klamer died September 14, 2021, at his home in La Jolla, California, at the age of 99. He is best known for creating the classic Milton Bradley board game, The Game of Life. He is also being remembered for creating props for TV, including the phaser rifles used in the original Star Trek series. Klamer was a U.S. Navy veteran of World War II who served in the Pacific. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to Halfstaff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent Halfstaff Memorial Flag honors. Flags all across the United States were lowered on September 11th in honor of those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. To view more in-depth September 11th tributes, visit Legacy.com and watch our video on YouTube, 9/11, 20 Years of Grief and Healing. Flags in Wisconsin have been lowered to honor the memory of the Barber brothers, Navy Fireman First Class Malcolm J. Barber, Navy Fireman First Class Leroy K. Barber, and Navy Fireman Second Class Randolph H. Barber, who lost their lives in the attack on Pearl Harbor. Their remains were recently accounted for. Flags in Ohio have been lowered to honor the memory of State Representative Doug Green. Flags in Louisiana have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Representative Stephen E. Steve Pugh. Flags in Massachusetts have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Yohani Rosario Pichardo, who was killed in the August 26th attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. Flags in Arkansas have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Air Force pilot Lieutenant Henry Donald Mitchell, who disappeared on July 8, 1944, in Austria. Lieutenant Mitchell was identified through DNA analysis and was brought home to rest after 77 years. Flags in Iowa and Nebraska have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Marine Corps Corporal Dagan Page, who was killed in the August 26th attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. Flags in Indiana have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Marine Corps Corporal Humberto A. Bert Sanchez, who was killed in the August 26th attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. Flags in Washington have been lowered to honor the memory of Grant County Sheriff's Deputy John Melvin, who died in the line of duty. Flags in Florida have been lowered to honor the memory of former Florida Supreme Court Justice Stephen H. Grimes. Flags in Missouri have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, who was killed in the August 26th attack in Kabul, Afghanistan. Flags in North Carolina have been lowered to honor the memory of former North Carolina State House Representative James E. Snyder, Jr. Flags in Michigan have been lowered to honor the memory of former U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Natalie Barajas. Flags in South Carolina have been lowered in official observance of POW MIA Recognition Day. Flags in Maryland have been lowered to honor the memory of the more than 10,000 Marylanders lost to COVID-19. This week also marks several notable anniversaries. 20 years ago this week, 2,977 people were killed in the September 11th attacks in New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. 25 years ago this week, hip-hop icon Tupac Shakur died at the age of 25. Actress Anne Bancroft was born 90 years ago this week. She died in 2005 at the age of 73. And country music star George Jones was born 90 years ago this week. He died in 2013 at the age of 81. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths and reactions.